This PowerPoint will cover the basics of circuitry. We will start out with an introductory video by PowerBits.
Let's begin by looking at how a simple circuit allows a light bulb to light. A circuit is a route through which electrical current can flow. In our example, electrons flow from the negative side of a D-cell battery to a conducting material on the base of the bulb. From there, the electrons flow up a wire that is inside the bulb and across the filament, which is the part of the bulb that actually lights. When the electrons go through the filament, some of the electrical energy is changed to heat and light energy. The electrons continue down another small wire inside the bulb to another conductor on the base of the bulb. The electrons finally make their way to the positive side of the battery. There would not be a complete circuit if the electrons did not travel to the positive side of the battery, and the bulb would not light. When there is an unbroken path on which electrons flow, as in this example, it is called a complete circuit. The unbroken path that the electrons follow is called a closed circuit, because electricity will only flow on an unbroken path. The light bulb will not light unless there is a closed circuit. Now look closely at the light bulb, and you'll notice that there is an insulator between the conductor that leads up to the filament and the conductor that leads away from the filament. Remember that the atoms of conductors easily accept and pass on electrons. The atoms of insulators do not. As we discussed in the first section of the lesson, electrons will not easily pass through insulating material that surrounds a wire. If an insulator did not surround a wire carrying a current, it is possible for the electron flow to get directed to another conductor that comes into contact with the circuit. Electricity will follow the path of least resistance. If the electrons take a path short of the complete circuit, it is called a short circuit.
Now that you've had a brief introduction to circuitry, let's define some terminology. Electrons are negatively charged particles. An electron current is a flow of electrons. Conductors are materials that allow electrons to flow through them. Some materials are better conductors than others, and this is something you will test out in our experiment. Insulators are materials that do not allow electrons to flow through them. Some components required to complete a circuit. You will need connectors, and these are often wires with different metals, but we're also going to try to use string, rubber, and glass in our experiment. You also need a battery, or a source of potential, or a light bulb. This is an example of a closed circuit. You clearly have your light bulb here, and you have one end connected to a wire, in this case, to the negative end of the battery. Then you have the positive end also connected to the other side of the light bulb. And in this case, if the battery has charge, the light bulb will light up. And next, you will see me demonstrate how to properly conduct our experiment.
So here you have our components for a simple circuit. So we have our wire, which this wire is a copper wire and it's surrounded by rubber. And then we have a battery, and then we have a light bulb. And this example of using this wire is, there's multiple kinds. You can try using string and rubber, which is actually an activity we're going to do later in class. So here, use this as a circuit. We're going to take the wire and then place the bottom of the battery on top of it. And then you take the light bulb, and it has a bottom here. You place that on the top of the battery, and then you put the wire up here to the side, and you see that the light bulb lights up. And so what that means is when the light bulb lights up, obviously the circuit is complete, and then you have electricity flowing from the bottom of the battery to the top. Now, in class, we're going to, every group, you guys are going to be broken up into groups, and we're going to have, each group is going to get a bag that contains a battery, a wire, and a light bulb, along with different kinds of wire. So this is the copper wire, and we're going to also supply you guys with strings and pieces of rubber to see if those can conduct electricity as well.